and getting me business. It's 100% the truth. It is literally for pennies on the dollar, like having somebody else here all the time getting me business.
All right, I'm very excited to share with you. My name is Jason Starbuck, and you're here because you want to grow your business and grow your car audio shop. And what I'm going to show you is what I found is that the estimate became the most important thing in growing any of these car audio shops. And so what I want to share with you is that I built this system not around so much this idea or this new magic trick, but really just studying what is the new way of doing business and how do we make sure that we grow the shops and we maximize everything that we have. So what I'm going to show you here is like really simple. Some of you guys, you already have a software. If not, you maybe have a software that's kind of at your shop. And so right here, you're going to go in and you're going to go new estimate, really simple here. Now, if you don't have the customer inside there, inside the software, then over here on the right-hand side, all you're going to do is you're going to put, let's say Tommy or so. And if that person's not there, it's super cool, super easy. Now, when I show you this, we wanted to make sure that when we collected this information, get as much information as you can, right? But the reason that we're collecting this information is because you're going to be able to use this information as the years come about, because your customers are going to still live in your local area. Next, what I'm going to do is say, okay, I'm going to go back and just do Jason, make it super simple here. And then I'm going to choose a vehicle. Now, you can put a vehicle in here. I could say a Jeep, right? And you can add a new vehicle. Over here on the right, add a vehicle. You can add the VIN number here or manually put a vehicle number or information in here of the vehicle. Now, the cool thing is that over the years, as you start to collect this data, you'll be able to say, what are the number one vehicles, right? As if you collected this data, what is the number one vehicles that we sell? What is the best vehicle that we work on all the time? All these questions, as you collect data, you can start to ask yourself. So you'll be able to do something simple like that. I'm just going to grab a vehicle that's already in there. I'll just grab that Saturn now. Now, what happens when somebody's ready to go? We need to create the estimate. So we're going to go right here. We're going to go to, you have an option. You'll be able to add a labor or you can add a part. And this is super easy. You just go ahead and add something here. I'm just going to have a kind of like a test here. So you can put in, start a search for a part that you put in. I'll show you kind of how inventory works. And then what happens is you would just pick a product. And so in this case, this has been set up with already taxes of 7.45. And in here, you'd have a grand total of $16.12. Now, something that's super cool here, and this is pretty standard, you've seen softwares like this, but here's something that I want to show you is this. If this person buys, there's something that's super simple here. We already have this. I'll go ahead and save this really quick, right? And I'm going to walk you over really quick. I'm going to show you that once we've already created the estimate, we then can send that estimate directly to the customer. Now, just for kind of promotion or showing you, I'm going to go ahead and just give you an example. So here's an example. This is if you want to collect payment. You're going to be able to collect payment directly through the software. So whatever the total is, they're going to get sent in the total plus taxes. Everything will go through, and you'll be able to add their payment that's in here. Next, what you'll be able to do is send in a PDF, and in the estimate, they're going to be able to see exactly what your estimate is for your product and your service. So inside here, you're going to position yourself to be able to send all of the information to your customer. So now, let's go back to estimates. Let's go to all jobs. And let's say, for example, that this estimate that we just created, that this customer did not purchase. Now, this is the thing that makes everything totally different. In a normal, software, we can go over this simple stuff, and we can go through, you add a part, and we add parts, create inventory. That stuff's pretty standard here. However, if we go to our all jobs, and this one hasn't been paid, the thing that makes this different is we do what's called our 48-hour SMS follow-up. And when this estimate gets created, what happens is it gets sent directly over to our sales Automojo. And what that is our automated software that handles all of the marketing for the shop. And so what happens is when a customer comes in and they say, you know what, I'm looking for, subwoofer or whatever it is, what we do is we want to add a follow-up to that. So what we do is we go directly into here, and I'm going to keep this kind of simple so you can see it. But what you'll notice here is these are days that messages have been sent out. This was back in like a March time. But these are days that messages just get sent out automatically. And this is just like an example right here. And now I got the permission from Chris, great guy, gave me some permission to be able to share his information because he had such a good experience. If any of you guys have not seen his testimonial. But in this, what we do is we send out an automation that's ultimately going to trigger them, and we make it very simple, staying in the fun business, is, hey, you know what? We had spoke about our estimate, and I was seeing if it makes sense to talk about that. And then what we do, and I'll kind of bring you to the background just for a second. You can see these, but ultimately you don't do any of this. I build all this out for you. It's like super simple. But what happens is we drip that customer, and I like to show you a little bit of a kind of a diagram, right? Is that every time that customer is getting an estimate, we send them over to this software, and in 48 hours, we send them a text message. If they don't respond, we maybe send one in 72 hours. Then maybe we send one in 10 days. And what ends up happening is that as you're getting more estimates into the system, the closing ratio starts to increase because your customers are met at the point that they want to buy and you're right in front of them. And that's the name of the game. And so what happens is we can go back to our conversations, and right here, and you'll be able to put this on your phone as well. But what happens is all this stuff happens in the background. You don't have to do any of that stuff. And what happens is all that triggers back into these automations that are getting sent every single day, and messages are getting sent out to customers. And what's happening is they're responding, hey, I'm bringing my car in. Or, hey, you know what I was thinking, it was a little bit more than I wanted to spend. But then you have the opportunity to say, great, I have another option. And so we don't lose those customers. And so in that, when a customer does respond, then the system stops and doesn't send those messages out again. And so as we kind of go back to the reporting, you'll notice over here, there's a dashboard. And something that I want to share with you that is super important is that if you're going to scale your car audio shop to $100,000 a month, we need to start looking at what is the true north? What is the most important thing that's out there? And this right here, as we compile everything together, you're going to be able to see, hey, you know what? How well is my shop running? Is it running like a well-oiled machine, or what is it? And what data is important? Now, my background is sales, marketing, the ability to build software. However, also, I did coaching and helping other entrepreneurs grow to millions of dollars as well. And with that, I decided in this software is that we've got to be able to look at things as goals and where do we want the shop to go so that you can scale the shop instead of you wondering, hey, you know what is going on with my business? So what I'm going to do is share this with you is that these numbers obviously are part of the test here. So I'm just showing you these numbers. However, what is a sales number? Well, in this, if you were to do an estimate and you were to get out an estimate and someone is going to give you a deposit of, let's say, $50 or so, then that would be considered a sale for the month. If a customer were to buy it in full, then it would be considered an invoice, right? Because it'd be paid, but then it would also be considered in a total sale for the month. And so in that, you want to have total sales so you know how much in my marketing did I spend to get my money back. And then invoiced, this is who has paid in full and then it has closed its out. Payments collected. Now it's really cool if you apply in here. Most of the time, kind of just throwing this in here, I've negotiated rates that are really awesome, probably going to save you some money, depending on what your numbers are. It could pay for some of this. And then the next thing is though, what's your closing ratio? And these two numbers are so important because if you want to grow your business, and I know, right, how many estimates, which goes right here, right? How many estimates, here it's an example here, but how many estimates here, what is my closing ratio, and what is my average sale? And that's going to give me what is my total sales for the month. And why is this so important? The reason why is because then the goal is to get as many estimates in the system. So with that, hope you guys enjoy this. This is Auto Mojo. We're really excited to be rolling this thing out. If you do decide to sign up, you will be grandfathered in. You will be getting extra perks kind of as a founder in the beginning of this as we're moving it through. We do have multiple people signed up. There is testimonials down there, and we have helped shops go from $35,000 to over $80,000 a month using the system. So sign up, Jason Starbuck. I look forward to getting to know you guys.
What's going on, guys? My name is Chris Jones. I am the owner and operator of Speed of Sound Audio Experts here in Somersworth, New Hampshire. I am making this video for Jason from Auto Mojo. I was on Facebook, just kind of doing, scrolling Facebook, and I saw this ad for, car audio help. And I was like, well, what the heck is this? And I've been in the industry for 34 years. I've owned my own business for 34 years. And it's always been a struggle with the business part of it. And I don't mean like the books and things like that, because I have people in place to do that. It's the actual, what am I doing to grow my business? How am I reaching customers that I'm not able to reach and things like that? And so I was like, what have I got to lose? I'll give it a shot. It's mind-boggling. This system has changed the way that we do business here. Not only has it increased our revenue from this year compared to last year, we're way up in every single month. And people are like, oh, the economy this, the economy that. I don't care. It's amazing. So what Jason has taught me is how to keep in touch with those customers. We have a system in place where the customers come in. Before a customer would come in and I'd say, hey, how much for a remote starter? Oh, $3.99. Have a great day. Hope you come back. He taught me to not do that. Basically now, anybody that walks into my shop, they go into the computer system. Their name, number, vehicle, everything goes in, and they get an estimate. So they have an estimate either texted to them, and this is people that call as well. So if you call me, I'm giving you an estimate. Over the phone, I'm taking your name, your number, the year, make, and model of your vehicle, and I'm texting you an estimate. Now I have that estimate in my system so that Jason can send that customer a reminder in 48 hours and say, hey, you were in a couple days ago. What do you think? You want to move forward? And then if that doesn't happen, then he sends it out another one in a week, another one in 30 days, whatever it is. I honestly don't know the exact days and how often he sends them out, but I know it works. I get messages. Honestly, the hardest part for me is the fact that now I have to take all this time to reply to all these customers that I wasn't dealing with before. Oh, what a terrible thing to have to deal with. It's crazy. I'm literally sitting on the couch a couple of nights a week for a couple of hours on the computer replying to these customers, maybe changing the estimate, maybe sending out a different estimate, whatever. It's bonkers. It's mind-boggling how many people are replying to Jason's messages. So when we started, Jason took our customer database and he actually sent out reminders of quotes that we actually did. We weren't doing enough quotes. So when somebody came in, again, we would just throw a price at them, they'd leave. Every so often, somebody would actually ask for a quote, and oh, look at that, we do our job and give them a quote. So this was the craziest one, which is still cool to think of now. I think it was September of last year that I started working with Jason, and so he went through that and found all of our quotes that we had sent out in the past, and he went in and added his tag to them so that he could follow up with those people that we did quotes for and send quotes out. Last year, we did a remote starter. This was like a month after Jason started working for me. We did a remote starter from a quote that we sent out in 2022. We still had the quote in the system. The lady still had the vehicle, and we sent her the quote, and she actually scheduled the remote starter and did the remote starter, and I was blown away. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, this is ridiculous. And I called Jason. I'm like, dude, you're not even going to believe this. So that's the kind of stuff that happens around here. We are constantly getting people that are coming into the shop and going, hey, you messaged me this morning, and I was just going to stop by. I got your message, and you didn't reply, and I'll stop by. We didn't reply because I don't have time to sit there. The messages are crazy. I literally could hire somebody just to sit there all day long and reply to these messages and follow up with them. It's bonkers. If you have someone to do that, great. I don't have anybody that can do that. My daughter did it for a little while. Then she had a baby, so she can't do it anymore. But if you have someone that can do that, I'm telling you, it's crazy how this works. And I would highly recommend this to anybody, and I have recommended it to other guys, and there are other guys that are using it now, and they're loving it. So this program is phenomenal. I tell Jason all the time, dude, it's like I have another person on staff that's on the other side of the country that's finding me more business and getting me business. It's 100% the truth. It is literally for pennies on the dollar like having somebody else here all the time getting me business. Now, like I said, if I could just find time to follow up with all these people and do my job, that'd be great. We're just so bonkers busy now because of Jason. I just can't keep up with it. So I highly recommend Jason. I recommend his program. If you're not using it, I'm telling you right now, it will change the way you do business. It will change the way you actually do business.